and we'll do this real quick. Okay, here we'll start out with the Alex Jones pack.
Conspiracy theorist
while
Alex
I go pee real
Jones
quick.
continuing to cast doubt.
Just really weird stuff going on in this trial.
After a resounding
And
rebuke,
Donald Trump says,
the
"CPAC tonight."
InfoWars host was ordered to pay an additional $45.2 million in punitive damages to the parents of a Sandy Hook shooting victim.
And I'm going to accept this as a verdict of the jury.
That verdict handed down just one day after the Texas jury ordered Jones pay $4 million in compensatory damages for the years he spent calling the massacre a hoax.
All right.
The nearly $50 million payout, less than what the parents of 6-year-old Jesse Lewis hoped for. Still, they say it's a win.
Other parents, I wanted to represent you well. I know that you have endured pain, just like I have over the past 10 years. And this is a huge victory for all of you.
But Jones's attorney says it's not over.
You know, the First Amendment is under siege, and that he looks forward to continuing the fight.
Jones responding to the verdict last night, saying he doesn't have the money he's been ordered to pay, despite expert testimony that InfoWars is likely worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
My net worth is below $5 million if you count everything I've got.
All of this comes after a bombshell week in court, where years of Jones's text messages were revealed after being sent to the plaintiff's attorney by mistake. The messages contradicting testimony Jones gave under oath, with the potential to place him in even more hot water.
I've been asked by the January 6th committee to turn their document.
And the attorney for the family says that those text messages that he received by mistake included messages between Trump advisor Roger Stone and Alex Jones. Now, the January 6th committee is not commenting, but they did subpoena Jones back in November, and they are looking into his role in the rally and later riot. Kristen, Peter.
All right, Priscilla Thompson, thank you so much.
So, a accountant looked through all of his earnings and found that, to the best of his ability, the best of his knowledge, with the limited data available, that he was making around $56 million on average a year, and his net worth currently is around $150 million. Alex Jones is a piece of shit, but what did he do criminally? I'm out of the loop. What he did, well, criminally for January 6th is entirely separate. What he did, unfortunately, is not criminal. Okay? What he did, unfortunately, is not considered criminal, technically. What he did was, originally, the reason why this defamation suit is happening is because he just said that the families were fake and actors, like crisis actors, families of the Sandy Hook children who were murdered, basically, after that famous school shooting. And that was there was a defamation suit that took there was a defamation suit that took a long time to finally come to this process. And that is like civil litigation. That's a civil suit, defamation trial. In that defamation trial, he did perjure himself. So I don't know if that will, I mean, if a prosecutor wants to take that on, they could technically charge him criminally. Oh, I wanted to watch Mark Bankston's thoughts on it, and also the thoughts of the other lawyers as well. But Scarlett Lewis, the mother at the heart of this case, speaks as the second verdict in the Alex Jones case.
We can choose love, and that we're all responsible for one another. Care and concern is so important, and we saw what happens when there is a dearth of that. And so I hope that we all just go home tonight, and everybody that's reading these articles and hearing this message, and you choose love with your kids because you can. That means being present in the moment with them. Looking into their eyes, giving them a hug, and just moving from there. Just every moment, realize that you have a choice, and your choice is love. That we.
In your opinion, what would drive Alex Jones to say what he did? Trying to understand his real motivation. Money, dude. He's psychotic. He has been completely unaccountable for regularly lying about shit. And he's garnered a massive audience as a consequence of his grift, which is incredibly profitable to the tune of $56 million a year in merchandise and, like, you know, commodities that he sells on his website. Merchandise and commodities that directly tie back to the conspiracies that he shills. Like, the most famous example that I always use is, he's a grift. He's a con man, right? The most famous example I always use is, like, he'll talk about how the frogs are turning gay as a consequence of the water, and then immediately tie that into, here, buy my straws that will clean up the water. So he basically brainwashes, he brainwashes his audience of you know, wealthy, psychotic shut-ins, and then he'll sell you the supplements to alleviate the problem that he created, or in your mind at least. I saw something about the punitive damages being capped at $750K in Texas. Is this true? I'm not familiar with how that works, but I think some chatters don't understand about this. There's nothing illegal about calling the parents actors, crisis actors. Anyone can legally do that. But when you have a platform as large as Alex Jones, you can be sued for that, especially for defamation. So I wish his audience was exclusively psychotic shut-ins. It's not, but there are plenty of psychotic small business owners who are shut-ins who have been listening to him for many, many years. There's so many fucking, like, libertarians who believe his shit. And so yeah, that's how it works. So he was sued for defamation. He lost. And then this was the awards trial to figure out what the compensation was going to be for the victims. This is only one family. There's other families that are also going to sue him. There's like a couple active lawsuits, one of which is like literally in Connecticut. So that's going to be really bad for him, for Alex, hopefully. And part of this process includes figuring out exactly how much money he has. He, of course, filed for bankruptcy for his main umbrella corporation, Free Speech Systems, FSS. But, you know, ultimately, all of that is going to be left up to how much money they can get. Yeah, this is just one family. This is just one family that's going to get $49 million, but I don't think he's going to get all the $49 million. So we'll see. In defamation lawsuits, they just need the evidence of prosecution from the narrative. The one with the platform made, turned down, lost jobs, assaulted, etc. Yeah. And they did. They actually did get... What? But doesn't that go against free speech? Alex Jones is weird, but y'all don't like free speech either. First of all, nobody likes free speech. Like, that's not a real thing. The idea that you've cultivated in your mind of what it means to be... what free speech is actually still incredibly limited, and oftentimes just revolves around, like, you know, hate speech for the most part, and protection of hate speech. You know, you don't have a problem with, like, we don't have a problem with police beating the shit out of Black Lives Matter protesters. You just try to justify it by saying, like, oh, well, you know, they were breaking stuff down. You usually don't have a problem with, like, someone like Colin Kaepernick being fired for taking a knee during the national anthem, because, like, you just don't have an issue with that because you don't like Colin Kaepernick. You don't have a problem with, like, the genuine free speech restrictions that are unironically unconstitutional, free speech limitations that are straight up unconstitutional, like BDS laws, anti-boycott, divest, and sanction laws against Palestinian activists. Like, you don't have an issue with that, when that is literally a free speech violation. But yeah, so here is before we get to Mark Bankston's take on the issue, this is the lawyer who I will be having on, who successfully sued Alex Jones for defamation. Understand that these people suffered so much. They went through so much. Their children died. Their children got massacred in this horrific event. And then for the next, like, 10 years, they were actively harassed by Alex Jones's fans, including people like going up to their houses, doxing them regularly and routinely, shooting at their houses and stuff. Like it's unimaginable pain that they put them through. Why? Because Alex Jones decided he could make money by saying Sandy Hook was fake. So that's the I mean, he deserves significantly worse punishments than just losing out $49 million, but we'll see. Are you having him on later this stream or sometime in the future? No, I'm going to have him on Monday, hopefully. And you know, you can try to turn around and debate lord your way out of this, but the legal and professional debate lords, lawyers, judges, have already debate lorded their way and found that Alex Jones was definitely doing defamation, and so much so that the damages are going to be costly for him. Okay? That's it. But what's not costly is avoiding the top of the hour ad break, because at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break. And that's not defamation. That's real life. That's the truth. Okay? It's coming for you. Now, of course, if you no longer want to see those ads, you don't have to pay $49 million. You only have to pay $5 a month if you want to subscribe for $5. You can also get gifted a sub like Dynamic Jab 13, who just gave 24 gifted subs. You could be one of the lucky 24 that just got gifted a sub to avoid the ad breaks. Or you can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get one free Prime subscription a month. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Anonymous user, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Anyway, let's continue. Let's hear what Mark had to say.
And none of us do. We don't know. I can explain it this way. There is as written on the statute and as could foreseeably be provided in this case, a $750,000 punitive damage cap per cause of action per defendant. Well, there's 3 causes of action, 2 defendants per. Ultimately adds up to, there would be a practical cap if the statute is applied or written at something like $4.5 million. But we don't think that that's how this is all going to play out, because like I say, we have a litigible ability to challenge that cap on due process grounds. Much stronger than the claim that's currently going up to the Supreme Court on that MedMal case. We have a default judgment with presumed damages, and the constitutionality of that is super suspect. But the important part of that is we're not going to be spending 2 years going up to the Texas Supreme Court or whatever. Nobody's going to waste their money doing that. We're going to this bankruptcy court. And those claims are going to have to get valued and resolved in that bankruptcy estate. And when we have a litigible basis to potentially wrap this case up for
Yes, Mark is a HasanAbi head.
years and then ultimately collect our entire punitive damage argument, yeah, there's going to be a resolution made onto what these claims are valued at. And that's also going to have to take into account what the Lafferty claims are valued at, and the Posner claims are valued at, and the Fontaine claims are valued at. And that is why I've been saying that what this is heading towards is there's going to be a large set of plaintiffs who are going to be dividing up the corpse of.
Listen, man, if you're going to be a debate lord, at least do it professionally and don't do it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with debate lording if you're doing it for good. You know what I mean? This man is a perfect example of debate lording for good. You know, there could be good debate lording out there, and he's doing it.
Of InfoWars in the bankruptcy estate. And over the course of that process, that could get very, very dangerous for Mr. Jones, because there is going to be a new level of financial scrutiny. And if, you know, some lawyer like me can basically find out that he's hiding the keys to the candy store, pull it out in front of him on the stand, I can only imagine what federal receiver's going to do. So yeah, it's going to get interesting from here on out. It's going to get really interesting, that's for sure. It's already super interesting, but like we say, it's the end of the beginning. And boy, are these clients happy about it. There was certainly a message sent out of this courthouse today, that's for sure.
This is one of the few instances where like Alex Jones has genuinely withstood some level of accountability for his like relentless harassment campaigns that he has engaged in, his relentless defamation that he's engaged in from his massive platform that seems to grow ever larger every time he says these outlandish things. So ultimately it is a good thing. Okay. It's good that this is happening. It's a very good thing that this is happening. Now let's hear what Jones's defense had to say. That's fun.
I think that the jury seriously considered the issue of actual damages. verdict was too high. As for punitive damages, Texas law caps them at $750,000 per plaintiff.
When you got absolutely fucking owned, but you're trying so desperately to be like, well, technically they're not going to take that much money because Texas law will protect my client. It's like, bitch, you didn't do that. You were garbo, dude. You were fucking garbage. I mean, you failed. I mean, Alex Jones is like very, very difficult as far as clients goes. I feel like it is incredibly difficult because he is ungovernable, as I've said time and time again. But yeah, no, he put the L in lawyer pretty fucking hard throughout the process. Like, I mean, he literally, I mean, he fed. He quite literally fed. He was a feeder the entire trial. Like, your team was going to lose anyway, but they didn't have to lose by like 100. You know what I mean? He just straight up. Wait, this isn't the funniest thing that happened to Alex Jones in a courtroom? When going through a divorce, he told the judge he ate a bowl of chili so big it made him forget his kids' names? Shut the fuck up. Pretending he didn't eat the chili and just the sight of a large enough bowl of chili did enough psychic damage. What? I need to know more about this. God, he's such a fucking goober, dude. I love that. I fucking love that so much. What a legend he is.
So this verdict today amounts to $1.5 million punitive. Alex Jones will be on the air today. He'll be on the air tomorrow. He'll be on the air next week. He's going to keep doing his job, holding the power structure accountable. With the result, we think that the jury seriously considered.
I just like. This is your editor. What is this? Sean's gonna do the tortilla slap laugh challenge with Ludwig and Austin. Too small of a target. Okay, dude. Worth noting that the law he's referencing made Greg Abbott a millionaire after that tree fell on him, but he turned around and changed it, so now no one else in Texas will get medical bills, etc., owed to them, paid as thoroughly as he did. I will never forgive trees for not finishing the job with Greg Abbott, okay? Like, fuck trees, straight up. Every time Mr. Beast plants another one, I'm like, dude, you know what? Fuck it. Take them down. Take the trees down. All of it. Big L on nature's behalf. Plaintiff's attorney says he believes even with a cap applied, there could be a reward of $750,000 per claim, closer to $9 million. He says regardless of any cap, the verdict restored Jesse's memory in the most important place, the minds of Neil Heslin and Scarlett Lewis. After the verdict, in a touching moment, I watched Mr. Heslin give pictures of his son to the sheriff deputies in the courthouse. Did you order yet? Okay. I will be clip chimped. What do you mean? Anyway, at least they tried, unlike us pussy-ass humans. What? Apologize to the trees, Hasan? No, dude. Finish the job. I like my trees when they actually collapse and finish the job on Governor Greg Abbott, believe me. What do you mean? You want to be called a war hero? I like when they're not caught. Believe me. Venom Tree coming back with a revolver squirrel to finish the job. Anyway, this is why you don't get an Obama criminal defense attorney to represent you in a civil case. Yeah. Okay, justice for trees, they're doing their best. Yeah, I like my war heroes that weren't captured, and I like my trees that were, I like the trees that actually finished the job, not some John Hinckley shit. Trees are out here on their John Hinckley bullshit, you know.